One of the things I've been working on is to establish when the expanded universe was first mentioned as official with the rest of the movies. And thanks to Abel G. Pena, I think I was finally able to locate it. It was in the 1984 release of the official guide to the Star Wars universe. Now in it, they mention all the Del Rey books, the Lando Calrissian, Han Solo trilogies, as well as Splinter of the Mind's Eye, marking them on equal footing with the movies. And remember, this came out 1 year after Return of the Jedi, so to my knowledge, that may be the earliest example of where we can prove that it was considered official with the rest of the Star Wars universe. Now, they did go out and make 3 more additions to the guide, to the official guide to the Star Wars universe. The third and final one came out by Lucas Books in the year 2000, I believe. Anyway, that's just a fun fact. What I really wanted to talk about today was 2 things. First off, did you know that George Lucas and I have so much in common? First off, neither one of us has seen the teaser trailer to Episode 7. Hey! And when George Lucas was asked a question, are you interested in seeing what J.J. Abrams has in store for Star Wars: A Force Awakens? And George replied, not really. Now, a lot of people have taken to the internet and speculated what Mr. Lucas meant by this. Some people have said he has seller's remorse, right? He regrets giving it over to Disney because he gave them a plan of what his idea would be for sequels, and JJ let Michael Arndt go and started writing it on his own, and, according to rumors, is deviating from that path. And he and George, of course, stopped talking a long time ago, so everyone says, because of that, George has sour grapes. He hates that he sold it to Disney. And that's why he said, not really. But folks, let me give you a different point of view. I don't think he meant it that way. I don't think he has seller's remorse. I think he's just done with Star Wars. Not that he hates Star Wars, he's just told all he needs to tell. Remember, since 1994, George has repeatedly said that once the prequels were over, that was it. That was his only story he wanted to tell, was the 6 movies. Done. Remember that quote I gave you a few months ago? He said, if you want to know more adventures about Luke Skywalker and Han Solo, I've got books and I've got comics for that. But as far as I'm concerned, those 6 movies, that's the only story I wanted to tell. Nothing else. He also even went on to say that he was misquoted back in the early 80s by the Rolling Stone, who passed it around to other media outlets, that there were 9 movies or 12. Now, is George lying about that? I don't know. Only George knows. But here's the point I'm trying to make. George has the 6 movies. That's all the Star Wars he cares about. He doesn't care what happens in Disney's new Star Wars canon. He's not interested, really. He may check it out, but when he said, not really, I think it means they can do whatever they want. I'm not interested. I have my story, and that's it. And if that's the case, then George and I have one more thing in common. See, folks, I have the expanded universe. I don't care about Disney's canon. Do I hate Star Wars? No. I love Star Wars. And if they ever make more expanded universe books, I will be the first in line to buy them, especially with a Legends banner on it. Fine, go ahead. As long as it's a new story, I don't care. But the thing is, though, I get a bunch of grief for that. I get a bunch of hate for that. Oh, well, whatever, you're just a whiner. Was George Lucas a whiner too? Because I don't hear anyone saying that, especially after that quote. So, I don't know. Oh, speaking of whiners, check out that AMC video, right? When they were talking about the expanded universe and was it a good decision to let it go? And the opposition was saying, aha, what is your rebuttal to these people? These experts say this. Well, they're not really experts, first off, because they keep referring to it as the extended universe. They don't even know what EU stands for. How can I take them seriously? It totally discredits them when they don't say what EU stands for. They don't know what it means. Extended universe, the extended universe. You don't know anything. Of course, he mentioned the Throne books, and that's probably all he's ever read. The rest of the stuff he may have gotten off Wikipedia. Who knows? But the thing is, though, these people keep saying, oh, it's full of contradictions, yet they can't name one. I'm not saying they're not out there. Sure they are. And whenever in the comments people start talking about contradictions, have you noticed that they start talking about contradictions within the movies? I was like, wow, okay, well, if that's the case, yes. there are more contradictions in the 6 films alone, like one of my earlier videos showed, than the entire expanded universe has with the movies, or themselves. That's a fact. So if they want to talk about contradictions in the movies, you got me. You got me. Can't argue that point. But in the expanded universe, you're really going to have to comb deep to find some contradictions, my friend, because it was one big continuity. And I keep telling them, only one book they have to read, right? The Essentials Reader's Companion. That's it. And it will show them how little contradictions there are in the entire series. Pablo Delgado tells you that. One more argument that I'm hearing a lot is they want to bring back that first fact, right? It ties us down creatively. They had to get rid of it. First they'll say it wasn't canon, and then they'll say, well, they had to get rid of it anyway because it ties them down creatively. Have you not noticed that you're in the same pickle as before? Because Disney's comics, their books, everything is going to be canon. So just like you have in the EU, in the next couple of years, what's going to happen when you have all these books out there and it's going to tie them down creatively, right? If they want to keep making movies, which supposedly they are, well, have they even thought about that? They're saying, yeah, we had to get rid of that because that's a problem. Well, if that was a problem, then you're headed toward that in another decade or so. It's weird. Get rid of the problem and push it back to another day. You're making the same mistake again? Also, catch what some of these people are saying. The same person I hear say, it was never considered canon. And then their second argument is, they had to get rid of it anyway, it ties them down creatively. Wait, they had to get rid of it? Well, if you're saying it wasn't canon, then why'd they have to get rid of it? If it tied them, it wouldn't tie them down creatively if it wasn't canon. Have you noticed how they contradict themselves in that statement? Now, I'm sure that's going to tick a few off, but it's funny when you think about it. Okay, so before I let you go, 3 things I want to mention. There are actually going to be videos throughout the entire week here on my YouTube channel, and I do hope you come back and join me. Our first video will be on December 23rd. Yub Nub and I have prepared a Christmas special for you. I think you're going to enjoy it. And then on December 25th, while you're done opening up the presents and you have nothing to do that day and you're extremely bored and you're kind of bummed because you know Christmas is kind of winding down, it'll be Christmas all over again on my YouTube channel as I debut my very own podcast right here on the channel called Princes of the Universe. It's about sci-fi, fantasy. We're going to talk a little bit of Star Wars too. In fact, I'm going to be done making these sort of videos. Sure, I'll make review videos of all the EU material, but these type of videos where I talk about the expanded universe and just rebuttals and stuff, that's going to be saved for that podcast. So every week I'm going to talk a little bit about it. I can talk even longer on the podcast. Some of you have said, I could listen to you for an hour. Well, I couldn't, but we're going to see how half an hour goes and maybe spread it from there. Finally, December 27th will be my second podcast debut. That's right, I'm doing 2. This one's going to be a little bit separate. We're going to talk about other movie genres, TV, games, pop culture. I have a few of my friends. We're going to have a fun time. It's called Saturday Morning Samoflange, and it's going to be crazy. I think you're going to enjoy it. Folks, have a Merry Christmas this week, and I will see you very soon.